Hey, hey, everybody. Welcome, welcome. It looks like it looks like everything has reset. I'm not sure why. I don't know why. That's weird. Looks like everything has reset on my restream. So like all my graphics and everything are gone. No, I was not. I refreshed YouTube 5 times looking for me last night. Yeah, I ended up falling asleep after work last night, and then when I woke up, Tibby was live, so I was like, you know what? I'll just skip. Yeah, but this is Restream. So I don't know if Restream updated, but like all my graphics, because I save like Weekend Update has a studio, True Crime has a studio, and then my nightly, like Malarkey has a studio, and all my graphics are saved and everything. And this one, they're completely gone. So I'm not sure. Hey, hey, everybody. Welcome, welcome. If you're over on Facebook, this is True Crime. So there's always a trigger warning with true crime. So we always start out by playing 2 rounds of the mugshot game. Not We're not saying we're good at it, but we play it, damn it. And that's just to kind of, because like I said, all true crime is a trigger warning. So this is just to lighten the mood a little before we get into, all the deep and dark stuff. So, once I'm finished with the 2 rounds of the mugshot game, then I will be saying goodbye to Facebook. So get your butt over here. All you have to do is get out of the live that you're currently in, scroll to the top of the page, and you will see a link there. Make sure you click that and come on over. There are only 2 rules in true crime. That is no malarkey and no spoiler alerts. So if you have seen or anything about the case, please don't mention it. It may be mentioned in the video coming up. And then after the videos are played, then if you have anything to add, of course, I would love for you guys to chime in. Let me just find this next one. Let's see. All right. Go. Uh, Yay, Latasha. Hey, Francis. Hey, everybody coming in. I hope everybody's having a great week so far. Somebody sent me a screenshot of I guess maybe it was live over. Well, I know it's no malarkey, but it does involve true crime. So I guess somebody sent me a screenshot where I guess Yaima was over there talking about my numbers, my views in true crime. Like, girl, what? What are you talking about? Maybe I had like 100 people over there on the screenshot, and she was like, "Yeah, she doesn't get any views for true crime, girl. Bye." Until you can get this many on a day in regular live, hush. Right, Christine? I just thought it was funny. Like, there's 126 people in here right now, and yeah, she can't even get that many on a she could be literally cussing me out, dragging me for filth, and wouldn't have that many. So, points made. But there's 135 of you in here right now. If you guys would hit that thumbs up, I'd greatly appreciate it. Hey, OMW. Hey, everybody. Also, if you're watching this on the replay, hashtag replay. Um, and yeah, let me know that we missed each other. You see 140? Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're doing good today. Di- Diana said, look at you counting Connie's pockets. Oh, Lord. I just don't get, like, you guys know, views, I always say views come and go. Like, I never try to at 17, hold on, let me see. I never bring up views. I always say views come and go. Like, you could have 100 today and 1,000 tomorrow, and it's not gonna, like, it shouldn't affect you, right? You should be doing the same thing if you have one person in here. um I just always find it funny when people like her have something to say about views. Like, it'd be different if you're rocking 1,000 every time you go live and you had something to say about me having 150 people in true crime. But if you can't even do that on your regular lives, hush, just hush. Please cover the story about my friend that passed away in high school at 17. Her sister passed away in 2024. and her sister was 17. Her boyfriend was sentenced last week. I'd have to have names and stuff like that and air it. You can message me on 2.0. Okay, so here's how it goes. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 are the alleged criminals. As always, people are innocent until proven guilty. These are the crimes that they could have possibly done. We've got unlawful possession of a pew pew, attempted. Oh, did we do this one? We did this one. Hold on. We did this one the other day. Hold on. We're going. We could get that right though. Let me pull this one up until I love it too. WTF? Yeah, I know, madams. I just realized. Let's do this one and then I'll find another one. We could have probably got 3 out of 5 of that out of that one. All right. A breath of these are potential weapons that they used in their crime. Again, innocent till proven guilty. We have 1, 2, 3, mullet number 4, and 5. We've got a breathalyzer. I don't know what this is. What is that? Oh, is that like a marshmallow thing where you like roast marshmallows on it? A weight, a skillet, and some eggs. I feel like the skillet was better than the choice of eggs. So what you do is you just say, I think number 2 used the weight. I think number mullet guy used the breathalyzer. I would love the stories on how they use these for their crime, but hey, we never get those. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. I'll randomly put them in there. I am gonna find another one for us to do while we're thinking. Eggs is number 4 and 1 is breathalyzer. All right. Eggs is number 4 and breathalyzer. There you go. 3 is weights. All right. We got, oh, madams, remember you said that in case you got it right. 5 is the frying pan. All right. And the guy, he gets the poker or the marshmallow thingy. 1 out of 5, y'all. All right, number 1, use the marshmallow toaster. Number 2, use the skillet. Number 3 was the breathalyzer, which I did see somebody I think say number 3 was breathalyzer. We got number 4, we got the eggs. He used eggs. And number 5, she used the weight. Damn. She said, I'm using the weight. Ooh, we got, look at us. All right, let's see. We got 1 out of 5. All right, let me go to this one. I'm going to find one we can do that we haven't done before. As soon as I saw that last girl, the way her face was, I was like, oh, she looks familiar. Yeah, we did this one before. See here. Some of the older ones, they're like, wait, they go all the way back to like 2010. And so they can get a little dicey. They did it a little different before. All right, let's do this one. Oh, what is that? Oh, pretzels, chocolate covered pretzels. All right. We are so bad. We are, but we still do it. We still do it. All right, this one is match the arrestee. Let me X these out. Match the arrestee with what they stole. So these aren't weapons. This is what they actually stole. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, all presumed innocent until proven guilty. We've got a Scarface DVD. We've got an owl on a, I was going to say on a rope, an owl necklace. We got chocolate covered pretzels. We got a bra and we got head and shoulders. Who stole what? And I remember last time we had a brawl, they said the man stole it and we got it wrong. Ooh, 2 is Scarface. Okay. 2 is Scarface. I got that one. Oh, you said 2 is pretzels. Remember that one. 5 is deodorant. Oh, you mean the head and shoulders? 5 is the head and shoulders. Yeah. I mean, 4, it really wouldn't make sense for 4 to have the head and shoulders. 3 is the pretzels. Now, are y'all going to put the damn guy with the bra again? Are we going to do, oh, we're putting the guy with the bra again now. Y'all, okay. I mean, maybe he dresses. Oh, nope. Number 1 was the bra. Number 2 was the pretzels. We got 0 out of 5, y'all. No way he got the head and shoulders. Okay. 1 is the bra. 2 is the covered pretzels. 3 is Scarface. A 4 is Head and Shoulders, and 5 is the owl necklace. Now, little birdie, you would have got that right. How come old boy with no hair got the damn hair Head and Shoulders? Oh my god. You got the bra one? You said the bra's number 1. You got it, Latasha. I knew 2 was pretzels. You did say that. You did say 2 was pretzels. We do, Lakita, but we still play it, dang it. I've tried to look for another mugshot game, and some places say that they have it, but then it ends up just taking me right back to the same mugshot game. See what I'm saying? Like, it's just, let me see. My graphics are completely gone. There we go. There's something. Jeez. He's shampooing his beard. I definitely got number 4 wrong. Yeah, like, what's up with that? All right, let's get into it. We've got a lot of stuff to discuss. Um, I do want to just give this little update. It's not a video, but the sheriff. So in the Nancy Guthrie case, um, they've learned new information about the backpack worn by the suspect. They're reassessing earlier assumptions about where the backpack may have been purchased as the investigation continues more than a month after her disappearance. We've now learned that the backpack, maybe it wasn't purchased out of Walmart. The backpack is new, exclusive of Walmart, but who's to say I didn't buy and put it on eBay? That's what we're looking at. So they're basically saying somebody could have bought that, which I know when we went over this case, a few of you guys were like, just because the backpack's made in Walmart doesn't mean like somebody could have sold it at a yard sale, somebody could have sold it at a thrift store. Like there's so many different ways they could have, Goodwill, whatever. Um, of course, Guthrie was last seen at her home on January 31st. Pima County Sheriff's Chris Nano said at a news conference last month that there were clues at the crime scene indicating Guthrie did not leave on her own. She was a victim of targeted kidnapping. It says Nano says detectives are reviewing surveillance footage and other evidence while working with the FBI and pursuing thousands of leads. The sheriff said investigators believe they are definitely closer to solving the case, which is now entering its second month. He added that him and his team are operating under the belief that she is still alive. He says, quote, there's so much that everybody wants to know, but I would be very neglectful, irresponsible as a police law enforcement leader to share that with everybody. We have information on this case that we think is going to hopefully lead us to solving the case, but it takes time. So I just wanted to give you guys that little update um, because there really hasn't been any updates. I do know I saw a video where Savannah Guthrie, her sister-in-law, and her brother actually went out to their mother's home, and of course media is everywhere, but they went out there and stood by the memorial that has been set up by people, bringing flowers and things like that, and you could hear them. They said that you could hear them sobbing at some points, and just awful. So let's start off with this story. Very disturbing. As I said, well, in my opinion, all true crime has um, some kind of trigger warning, and this one definitely does. Oh, I am still live on Facebook. Thank you for that. Facebook, I'm going to say goodbye to you. You believe she's still alive. I'm not putting that on her. Yeah. Yeah, exactly, Lakita. We've had people like you know, Elizabeth Smart, she was gone for 9 months and she was alive and well. Now, obviously, she didn't have any Oh, thank you, October. It was stolen in my car. When my car was stolen, it was stolen with it. But it was like my favorite. It was my favorite little beanie. The couple that were doing a photo shoot. Oh, I didn't see the photo shoot. I saw she went back. Did Savannah go back to New York? Yeah, I'd say that was hard. That may have been why she went there one last time. Yeah, there's a full moon. I wonder if Hood Billy's in labor. Oh, she may be. She did say that she was dilated, right? The other day she said that she was dilated. This is such a weird case right here.
A disturbing story. Oklahoma City police are investigating after a 14-year-old girl turned up pregnant with twins.
She's allegedly being used as a surrogate. News 4's Abigail Franklin is on Crime Watch with more. Abigail.
Well, Heather, Kevin, the court documents say the victim in this case has not revealed how she became pregnant, but police and Child Protective Services talked with her mother, and that interview revealed something pretty disturbing details.
It's a stunning claim. A mother tells police her daughter wanted siblings, and the solution was for that daughter to be a surrogate mom. The investigation began last December. Oklahoma City responded to a possible sexual assault of a 14-year-old at an apartment complex near North Penn and Northwest 122nd. A referral from Child Protective Services indicated the teen was pregnant with twins. The father, possibly her mother's 36-year-old boyfriend. The mother reportedly told police her daughter desperately wanted additional siblings, and she wanted children with her current boyfriend, but couldn't since her tubes were tied. The documents say the mother denied allowing her boyfriend to impregnate her daughter, but police obtained a search warrant in order to collect DNA from the man to determine paternity. The teen, now 15, is due later this year. While waiting for those results, neither the mother or the boyfriend have been arrested, and the teen is now in protective custody.
Court documents say another child was also taken from the mother. The mother has left the state, and the boyfriend's location is unknown.
So apparently the mother is with a 36-year-old man. Her daughter, who is 14, wants a sibling, has been wanting a sibling, but there was another child that was taken. So I'm not sure maybe if that was his kid or whose kid that was. The others, they said sibling, so I don't know, but she said she wanted a sibling. So the 14-year-old is now pregnant with twins. The mother admits that she wanted a sibling and that's why she got pregnant, but yet denies that she had an old boyfriend. Obviously, the mother, her want to have another child, I feel like she probably coached the daughter into wanting that too. I mean, obviously most kids want a sibling, but I mean, enough to get pregnant with twins. I mean, I just could not believe that story. It is, sissy. It's just crazy. But here's the crazy part too, is that the daughter gets taken out of her custody and goes in protective custody. She's going to have the babies later on this year and the mom leaves state? What? I don't if your kid's in protective custody, I sure the hell wouldn't leave state. I just couldn't believe that story. I'm like, "Wait, what?" That's awful. I've just got a few shorter videos and then we'll get into some longer ones here in a minute. But there's just so many stories lately.
Mitchell is live in Reseda with the heartbreaking story. Sandra?
Cher, it really is. Her family says this school was supposed to be a safe place, but the bullying had been going on for a while. For its part, the school will only say they are deeply saddened by what happened and fully cooperating with what has become now a homicide investigation. A grieving mother outside Reseda High School. Tonight, Elma Chiquipa tells KTLA her 12-year-old daughter Kimberly was the victim of a vicious bullying attack. Hit in the head in the school hallway, she died days later after a brain hemorrhage.
It was a metal water bottle, and they threw it to her right over here. Then after that, she said she was feeling dizzy when she got home, so they took her to the hospital.
Witnesses say the water bottle that struck Kimberly was launched by another 12-year-old girl. After the incident at Reseda High, Kimberly was taken to the ER.
No, nada. Solamente le recetó Tylenol.
Her mom says the doctor did nothing. They sent Kimberly home and told her to take Tylenol. But a few days later, Kimberly collapsed.
The day that she had the aneurysm, we had no clue that something was about to happen.
Guy Gazzett is Kimberly's uncle.
The child that attacked Kimberly was a problematic child and that has been fighting and bullying a lot of kids, not specifically targeting Kimberly.
Justice for Kimberly!
Amid all this grieving, now there are demands for justice. Kimberly's classmates demonstrating outside the school today. And the LAPD is investigating this as a homicide, saying due to the sensitive nature and the involved parties being juveniles, we are not releasing any further information. As you can imagine, Kimberly's family facing some really extreme medical bills because she did have 3 surgeries before she passed. There is a GoFundMe to help the family. If you'd like to contribute, you can find the link on our website. It's ktla.com. We're live tonight. Reseda, I'm Sandra Mitchell.
Awful. I mean, here's my thing is, will they be prosecuting the 12-year-old that threw the metal water bottle? Obviously, it's not like throwing a plastic water bottle, you know? So I'm curious to know if the 12-year-old girl who threw the water bottle, um, if she will have any type of repercussions as far as criminally. That's just awful. Sorry, I'm just trying to find. Here it is. This is actually a breaking story that just happened today. And I just happened to see it right before 7, I believe. I saw it come across and I was like, oh yeah, I'm definitely going to share that. This is a sad one. Sure.
The breaking news alert.
We begin with breaking news and a gruesome discovery in Cleveland. An active crime scene right now as the bodies of 2 young girls have been found. Thanks for joining us this noon. I'm Nicole Versansky. We're going to get right to 19's Brittany Weir. She's live in South Callanwood with new developments. Brittany.
Yes, Nicole, we do want to warn everybody first, though, that the details of this investigation, they are disturbing. A law enforcement source did just confirm to 19 News that they did, in fact, find the bodies of 2 young girls in suitcases here near the Ginn Academy, right off of East 162nd Street in the Collinwood neighborhood. We had more police officers just arrive here on scene. And now that source that we spoke to did clarify that those girls' bodies were still intact, but because they were so small, they fit inside those suitcases. The suitcases were also partially buried, but police do want everyone to know that the investigation is still in the early stages. And like we said, police are still here on scene. They did just clean up the police tape, but they had this grassy area behind us blocked off near that tree line. That was all blocked off, and they just cleared that tape. Now, this is what the scene looked like last night. It was a grim discovery on Cleveland's east side. Police investigating again after 2 young girls were found dead. Officers responded to East 167th Street and Midland Avenue Monday after a caller reported a suspected body. When the police arrived, they confirmed one person was dead, but then detectives found the second body nearby. Police, again, have not identified either of the victim, but through our sources, we have confirmed, again, these are 2 young girls. The Cuyahoga County Medical Examiner now has the bodies and is working to determine how both of those girls died. There is no indication, though, on how long that process could take. However, at this time, investigators say there is no ongoing threat to public safety. We have reached out to Cleveland Police for an update. They said they will be holding a press conference later today at 1:45, and we will be sure to bring that to you live on 19 News Plus. For now in Cleveland, Brittany Weir, 19 News.
All right, Brittany, thank you. And this is a developing story. Again, we are expecting an update within the next 30 minutes and again, possibly at 1:45, as Brittany just mentioned. So be sure to download the 19 News app. We'll send you a push alert as soon as we have new information.
He's going for my gun. He's got my gun. Hello, sir.
Hold on. I thought it would go to the next one. They must not be in order. Hold on. Oh, it goes backwards. I don't know why it goes backwards like that. That's weird. How is there an ongoing threat? 2 girls found a suitcase in 2 different locations. Oh, I didn't hear about the other location. I just heard this one in Cleveland.
This is coming to you from our digital desk. We're about to get an update from the police chief here in Cleveland on the case of 2 young girls being found partially buried in 2 suitcases. This was behind Ginn Academy. Their bodies were discovered by a man walking his dog. His dog actually hit on or smelled the first suitcase, and that's when police were called. Let's get you live now to the update.
Out and located a deceased individual that was in a shallow grave inside of a suitcase. The officers immediately began their investigation as they canvassed the area for any potential evidence on scene. The officers located what appeared to be a second shallow grave, and they could tell that there was a second suitcase in that location. The officers at that time identified that there was a body inside of that second suitcase as well. The medical examiner's office responded out, and they took custody of the individuals and for their further investigation. So we completed our investigation on scene. The only updates we have at this time are that the individuals are 2 juvenile black females. The one individual is suspected to be anywhere between the ages of 8.5 to 13. The second is estimated to be of the age of 10.5 to 14. At this time, there are no clear indicators of the cause of death of the 2 young females, and we're asking if anyone has any information, saw anything suspicious in the area, that they are to contact the Cleveland Division of Police Homicide Unit at 216-623-5464. We will be operating that line 24 hours a day, so someone will be available to answer those calls. Or they can call Crime Stoppers at 216-252-7463. At this time, we don't know how long the juveniles had been at this location. It was some time, so it's not just something that was recent. The investigation is ongoing. We have to wait for results from the medical examiner, and from there, we should have an update once we have further information. So if you have any questions, we'll open it up.
Were the bodies dismembered?
No.
And approximately how big are these suitcases if you were to...
I am not going to give that information right now, so the only thing I do ask is if somebody saw something that was suspicious involving something that sounds familiar, I don't want to give certain information out that could tamper the investigation.
Were the 2 victims related?
No, we don't have any identification of either of the victims at this time.
But there...
Do you have any suspects?
No.
Are there missing persons, missing children that match the 2 girls that were found?
So it's a good question. We have checked our, locally, we have no reports of any missing children that match these identifications. We are checking statewide as well. We also have the assistance from our federal, state, and local partners. This is a priority. This is a traumatic event for our officers, for the community, and this is just such a tragic incident. But we are trying to develop any leads we can. That's why we're also asking for the community's help.
I know in last night's press release you said that the department said there's no ongoing threat to the public. What leads investigators to come to that conclusion?
When we say that, it's more we know that this didn't just happen. We still have to develop exactly when this happened, and we don't have any indication that there's a clear threat to safety.
Can you give any sort of update on the condition of the bodies that are found? I know you said it's been some time. This isn't something that just happened, but any sort of...
So right now, the only thing we could say, there's no clear indicators, so there's nothing that's visible enough to determine what the cause of death was.
We had heard, Chief, that perhaps these children were malnourished. Is that something that you heard as well?
I don't have a comment on that. I would defer to the medical examiner once their results come out.
Were the individuals clothed?
I will also defer to the medical examiner on that at this time.
Was there any identification inside the suitcase or name on a shirt, like a kid's shirt, or anything that would lead you to...
Unfortunately, we have no indicators right now of the identity of the children involved.
Should we believe that they're local? Or do we not know that?
We can't even determine that at this time.
Can you kind of describe that neighborhood to us? Or is there often foot traffic in that area where the bodies...
Yeah, so the caller in this incident was just a resident from the area who was walking their dog through the area. This is a field close to the school over there. This is just a residential neighborhood that I'm sure a lot of people do frequent. The weather has been changing recently. The snow's been thawing, so it's really hard to determine the length of time at this point.
There are some businesses around there with cameras that appear to be pointing. I don't know how far they go, but have you been gathering some of that evidence?
Yeah, so our detectives have been out there actively walking the neighborhoods and gathering the information. The difficult part is that timeline, how far you have to look back, and a lot of cameras don't capture historical data, so we are currently still canvassing for that. So if someone has cameras and they want to, just do a cursory review to see if they have anything suspicious, please let us know and give us a call.
For anyone watching this story, you want people to come forward who may have seen something suspicious. What are some things that, should set off an alarm and they should contact you about?
Anything that you see that's out of the ordinary. Did you see anyone spending a significant amount of time in that area? Someone who seems out of sorts to your neighborhood. Usually in residential areas, what's happening in your neighborhood. Something just seems a little bit off. That's why we're asking that anyone who has anything that they believe to be information directly related to or suspicious, that they give us a call.
Chief, we had heard that the FBI and perhaps U.S. Marshals were out searching yesterday. Does that search have anything to do with these missing individuals?
No, that's not connected.
Are you working with any other agencies in this? Maybe the FBI, maybe National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, anything like that?
We are working with all of our federal, state, and local partners. From Department of Children and Family Services to CMSD to the FBI. This is a priority investigation.
As far as your knowledge, have you had any other cases here locally similar to this where children were found in suitcases or missing people or anything like this before?
Not that I'm aware of. No.
Chief, can you describe, when it involves children, I mean, it takes this crime to another level.
It does.
Can you talk about that?
So when you look at that, you have an individual who's a resident who locates the trauma that happens right there, and at the end of the day, our officers are just regular people, and their parents, and it's something that a lot of officers never have to experience. We hope they would never have to experience, and it's traumatic for everyone, and it's traumatic just for those who live in the area to know that this was right there outside their doorstep.
Should people be on heightened alert in and around this area?
I think all residents should always be cautious to the ongoings of their neighborhoods. Just keeping alert for anything that is suspicious and always reporting it. We can't do police work alone. It takes the community to be a part of that, to call us, to let us know if something in their neighborhood is suspicious that needs something for us to take a further look at.
Have you been in contact with, CMSD, any local schools, things like that, working with their principals?
We're working with everybody. Yeah.
Can I ask, and then you say you don't want to give away too many details, but the brand of suitcase, perhaps?
Yeah, I appreciate the question, but because of the integrity of the investigation, I just can't give those specifics at this time. And as soon as we develop more leads or we have additional information, we will keep you updated. As soon as the coroner's office has more for us, we will keep you updated on that information. We just want to. The most important thing is misinformation gets out there quickly, and we want to clarify exactly what we know at this time. The delay in, us giving the
Such a sad
update is
story.
because it's a sensitive investigation, and
Hood Billy, we were curious if because of the full moon you were in labor.
there wasn't a lot to go on at this point, so we want to give you as much factual information that we have as soon as we could.
Are there any solid leads right now?
No.
Can I ask, and you may not be able to give it, but can you classify how badly decomposed these bodies were? Was it a great amount? Obviously, that's going to impact the investigation. If that's
Well, I'm going to leave it to the coroner's determination because they take custody of the bodies, and they're doing their review right now, so they will probably provide that update when they're complete.
So, Chief, what is your next steps?
As far as
like, where do you go from here? What will you do shortly after this news conference?
So I can tell you that one, we're establishing a 24-hour response line. Our investigators, not just on this investigation, but on many, they spend countless days, nights, hours, whatever it takes, sleepless nights on this investigation. We are working with all of our partners. We are we're canvassing, we're talking to people, and the best thing is to find answers. It's just terrible, horrific situation.
Do you have any idea how long it'll take the medical examiner's office to get
We don't. I don't want to talk about their timelines, but hopefully we'll have something soon.
When do you anticipate the next update?
As soon as we have something more. We want to make sure that we keep the community updated, but I'm giving you what we have right now. So as soon as we have something further. But again, I encourage anyone, if they saw anything suspicious, if they know anything related to kids that are missing, that they please call us. And that's the most important thing. 216-623-5464. Someone will be.
Okay, here's my thing. Who doesn't know that they said ages 10 and a half to 14 and 8 to 13, I think was around the ages of these two girls. They have obviously been gone long enough for someone to do something sinister to them put them in a suitcase and then to bury it in a shallow grave, at least one of them buried in a shallow grave. And they've had long enough to find them. The police have already done this press conference. You mean to tell me you've got an 8 to 13-year-old and a 10 to 14-year-old and you don't know? That right there tells me, where the hell are these parents? Because are all parents involved? Because again, we don't know. This could be siblings. They could be friends, they could be cousins. We don't know yet. I'm assuming because there's no missing person reports, maybe it's siblings. Because I would hate to think that there is possibly four parents out there, a mom and dad on each side. I mean, for each kid. I would hate to think there's four that haven't reported their children. That's crazy. You looked it up, the stats? So, like, because we were talking in the comments about, because I always say this, like, we see it seems like so many children, especially it seems young girls, getting taken out of this world. And sadly, a lot of them have to come down to, in my opinion, a lot of them have to do with them being pregnant or something along those lines, something going on in that area. And then all of a sudden they're gone. They've disappeared. Um, 8.5 to 13. Oh, yeah, 8.5 to 13, and then 10.5 to 14. You also think they're siblings? Yeah. Um, yeah, that's what I'm saying, Nancy. The fact that they haven't been reported missing. Now, I can understand you have teenagers and they run away or whatever the case may be. But there's been so much time. Like I said, they had to, even if they got them last night and did something, it's been all day today. I mean, by now, maybe somebody's called. But I mean, you had at least, I would say, 12 hours before they found them. that those girls had to have been missing. I mean, today's a school day. So you didn't know your teenager went to school or didn't go to school today? Like that's what makes me think it's siblings and possible parent involvement. Tons popped up. Yeah, I'm just curious. So we were talking in the comments, is it happening more with these young kids seeming to be missing or unalived, or is it that we're paying attention more? So I'm curious. I'm gonna look up. You know me, I'm a nerd. So I'm gonna look up and dig in some stats to see, like in the years past, how many children went missing or unalived versus now, because it does seem like it's so much more often. Family or friends or I mean somebody, I feel like if you don't know, and again, unless the teenager lied, and see that's why I say it could be friends or whatever, unless they've lied and said, "Oh, we're going to be here," and we're not. But how long before you figure that out? Like I said, today's a school day. Wouldn't you know if your kid went or not?
Responding to that line 24 hours.
Canada's bad.
Yes,
Anything else you may want to add? You may have missed or you want to emphasize?
No, I just,
Yeah,
you know,
Lita.
the biggest thing is, you know, getting the accurate information out as quickly as we can. That's the most important thing, is making sure that, you know, to honor these young people, making sure the right story's out there. So thank you very much.
Yeah, that seems
Danda
to
Ross
be
with 19
the
News as we get an up.
homeschool seems to be the thing lately. Seems like all these kids that something happens to are homeschooled, especially the ones that are like starved to death and things like that, because obviously nobody is seeing them. No one's putting eyes on them every single day. Hey, hey. I think it will come back saying we're paying attention more. It could be. I'll let you guys know Thursday. I'm going to do a little deep dive. I'll bring back some stats for y'all. Because again, like I said, what do they call it? The red car theory or something like that, or blue car. I don't know. They call it something where basically like if you get a new Toyota Tacoma, you're going to start noticing Toyota Tacomas everywhere because you're looking for them. Just subconsciously. So that's why I say that. I wonder where it came from that they were. Oh, it didn't, honey. I didn't hear that they were. I mean, they were tiny, obviously, because they fit in the suitcase. But I don't. I didn't hear anything about I'm just saying, like homeschooling. A lot of them, especially the cases where they seem to have starved them to death or something like that, it seems to come back to homeschool. Now, as far as these girls, they haven't said anything like that yet.
Prosecutors have charged this man, 50-year-old Alex Pacino, in connection with a home invasion that happened in Arlington Heights yesterday. Arlington Heights police say Pacino entered a home at Vine and Chestnut through an open garage door. The homeowners locked themselves inside a bathroom, called 911. Officers got them out safely, but Pacino refused to leave for about 7.5 hours. Pacino eventually surrendered and police arrested him. He's now facing a number of felonies. He is due in court sometime tomorrow.
Yeah, Marie, we're getting a better idea of exactly what those homeowners went through during those terrifying moments. It started with them hiding from that man inside of their own home and ended with police and SWAT surrounding their house and eventually getting them to safety.
Oh my God. Please send someone right away. Please.
You can hear one of the homeowners begging dispatchers to send help within the first 30 seconds of their call to 911.
We got into the garage. Oh, he's in my bedroom, taking stuff out of my bedroom right now.
This happened just after 7:30 in the morning. The woman telling police a suspect walked in right behind her through her garage door.
I thought it was my husband, and it's not.
Once she finds her husband in the home, they both hide in a bedroom.
We're hiding down below the bed.
Can you hear anything?
We're hiding in another bedroom.
Guys, gotta get here right now.
Oh no, he had a hoodie on.
He's trying to break our door down.
About 4.5 minutes into the call, you can hear police arrive on scene.
They're in our house now. Yeah, the cops just shot something.
Today, police confirming those gunshots came from the suspect who was shooting at officers entering the home. After coming up with a tactical strategy, they returned with 7 officers to try to take down the suspect and get the couple out.
Just stay there. I'll let you know when you come out.
for almost 10 more minutes. The couple stays in place as a massive police response forms outside their home.
He might have been crawling through the house. He might have been trying to hide from the windows.
Eventually, you hear the moment officers find them.
They're getting us out.
Okay.
Thank
All right,
you,
sir,
guys.
I'll let you go.
Over 7 hours later, 50-year-old Alex Pacino finally surrendered and was taken into custody.
Right,
the police chief here telling me that 7 people in total, including 5 police officers, a sergeant, and a police camp commander, will be awarded a Medal of Valor, Marie, for their heroism in getting this couple out safely. They'll be awarded at their Village Hall meeting coming up in just a couple of weeks on March 16th. Live in Arlington Heights, I'm Asal Rezai, CBS News Chicago.
That's crazy.
The pool it was dark and I didn't have my glasses. And I seen like a...
Okay, hold on. That's crazy. I can't imagine seeing somebody break in my home and all of that happen. Okay, I saw this video and I wanted to show you guys because a couple of you guys have talked about this. Hold on. Shit. The rabbit hole is so deeper than we could ever know. Oh yeah, Zona, for sure. I just don't even see how that's friggin' possible. Like, and so many people just getting away with it.
Not only is the public obsessed that this potentially could be a serial killer, from my perspective, it almost appears like they want there to be a serial killer.
Every single body that's recovered from the bayou has an autopsy performed by the Institute for Forensic Science.
What does it say Kenneth's cause and manner of death is?
Undetermined and undetermined.
Another body has been found in a Houston bayou, marking the 32nd death in the city's waterways this year.
There is a huge frustration amongst family members. They want answers. What happened to their loved one?
We knew the second that we knew he was missing, something happened to him.
Grief is intensified when justice is lacking.
We've got to attack this from a lot of different ways, but stoking fear about a serial killer is not one of them.
Was just a very live soul. He was very fun. He wanted to make sure everybody else was happy around him.
Oh my God, Kenneth, I can see you.
My family is an Italian family from New York, and growing up, there was 3 generations under one house. It was my grandmother and my grandfather, and then my mom and my uncle, which is Kenneth's dad, and then it was me and Kenneth. I'm Lauren Freeman, and I am Kenneth Cutting's cousin. I was in high school when Kenneth was born, so there was a lot of help of raising him. It was more like a brother-sister relationship. Up until he was about 21, I mean, there was points where he lived in my house, and him and his dad, and we just kind of did our thing. He was also this human that he wanted to make life fair for everybody. So if something was, an injustice, he wanted it to be fair in all levels for everybody. It didn't matter who you were. The morning that we found out that he was missing, my uncle and my husband, we actually went out looking for him, and my uncle went and filed a missing persons report.
Do you think that Kenneth would know that you and your uncle are fighting to get justice for him?
The family that I've been in
the most communication with is the cousin of Kenneth Cutting. My name is Jaywan, and I'm a reporter in Houston, Texas at KPRC. When I broke the story about 189 bodies being found in the span of 8 years from 2017 until 2025, Lauren reached out to me on TikTok. I'm continuing to look into the bodies found in the bayou and analyzing all the data. The medical examiner's office has ruled Kenneth's death as undetermined. That isn't good enough for her, and she wants answers.
Kenneth was in a polyamorous relationship, and he went out with his 2 boyfriends that night to Pete's Dueling Piano Bar. There's video footage that us, the family, have obtained from Pete showing that there was a disagreement between him and one of the boyfriends. And you can see Kenneth storming down, and they're both cursing at each other.
Then Lauren told me that one of the boyfriends texted Kenneth's dad and said,
Kenneth went berserk. He jumped out of the car, and we weren't able to get him back in.
That Kenneth hopped out of one of their cars in a really dangerous area of Houston at 3 a.m.
Then, about 9 o'clock in the morning, it might have been 9:30, my uncle called me and said, Lauren, something's wrong. He said, something is wrong. And he told me, and I said, give me a second, we're on our way. We went down to where they said they let him out, and we drove the streets for a good 2-3 hours. His dad and his mom and we were actually going to all the county hospitals looking for John Doe's, and we were in the waiting room of Ben Taub, and my uncle received a phone call from the missing persons detective, and he goes, well, they found your son in Buffalo Bayou. Where he was at, he probably had never been there in his life, would be my guess, because he lived in one of our houses, either his dad or my house, until he was about 21 and a half. So he had only been on his own for 6 months.
I think families are just frustrated. In Kenneth's case, for example, Lauren believes that there may have been foul play.
My cousin, he really wasn't a person that went and partied out all the time. The one thing about Kenneth, because we are such a close family, is that it could be 2 o'clock in the morning and he was out and he was like, uh-oh, I'm somewhere I shouldn't be. It would have been nothing that night for him to pick up the phone and call his dad or myself or my husband and say, hey, I need help.
She told me the police didn't pull any geolocation on the phones, and she thinks the police sort of dropped the ball.
What does it say Kenneth's cause and manner of death is?
Undetermined and undetermined.
They want justice for their loved one.
They can't find a manner of death. They can't find a cause of death. And then it's passed on to the police to open an investigation and find out. We can talk about Kenneth all day, but we're at 190 something bodies since 2017.
New data obtained by KPRC 2 News raises questions about Houston's bayous. 189 bodies found since 2017.
What stood out to me the most is that nearly 40% of all the bodies found in the bayou have undetermined manners of death. And rumors about a serial killer began to spread like wildfire on social media.
Is there a serial killer in Houston, Texas or not?
Because I truly feel like there is a serial killer down there.
The work of a serial killer.
Serial killer on the loose. 10 bodies.
So we're just gonna pretend that there's not a serial unaliver.
Serial killer.
Serial killer.
Serial killer. Serial killers.
When people don't get immediate answers, they tend to fill in the gap. Hi, my name is Grizzy, and I run a community page called Grizzy's Hood News, happenings around the city and Harris County for the most part. A lot of times I go out to scenes, I let people know what's going on.
You got it live, you got it here, you got it first with Grizzy's Hood News.
Ever since we've heard rumors, hey, there's a serial killer, the Bayou Butcher, there's even nicknames. It's like a phenomenon. I can't explain it, but people want to know, like they want to know what's going on. And sometimes fear fills in those gaps and it creates a panic. And that's what we've got right now.
Not only is the public obsessed that this potentially could be a serial killer, from my perspective, it almost appears like they want there to be a serial killer. I'm Andy Kahn, Director of Victim Services, Crime Stoppers of Houston. Serial killers are in vogue. You know, they are a form of entertainment.
I'll be doing Facebook Lives on a whole other subject, and people are like, what about the Bayou killer? What about the serial killer?
Serial killers kill people, you know, and they cause an undue amount of harm to so many different families, and it's almost like we're celebrating that maybe we have a serial killer.
And unfortunately, we're at, trying to hear from medical examiners, investigators, because we don't get briefings when we come out to these scenes. Communication rules the nation, they say, and sometimes when we don't get communication, the people are gonna make up their own narrative. They're gonna make their own stories. They're gonna fill in the blanks.
And when I go back to Texas, the last place you're gonna find me is anywhere near the Houston bayous.
But they think it's a serial killer going on.
The bayou is just a place where people dump bodies.
5 bodies in 1 week. How did they get in that bayou?
But let me unequivocally tell you, there is no serial killer in Houston. If you go back in Houston true crime history, we've only had a few serial killers. Serial killers, for the most part, are gender specific. Very rarely do serial killers kill both male and female victims. They single out a particular victim. They usually stick to a specific age range. And then the body count that we sadly have in the bayous, the ages are from teenagers all the way up to senior citizens. There's never been a serial killer that has basically used drowning as a method to kill their victims. Drowning's hard. It's not easy. It's just, frankly, just impossible to even perceive.
I think each case is different. In Kenneth's situation, I believe that these young men had something to do with his disappearance and his death. Looking at all these other deaths, I think that they're all separate. So no, I probably don't think that there's a serial killer. However, I do think there's a series of killers.
We do not have a serial killer that is routinely dumping their victims into the bayou. I'm Sean Tier, and I am the District Attorney of Harris County. Historically, and in the majority of times, it is a passerby or a cleanup crew that spots what they believe to be a body. We're going to get a 911 call, and the first responders are there.
Are they initially investigated as homicides?
Always. Regardless of the ultimate outcome of the death, it is going to be investigated by either HPD or the Sheriff's Department homicide teams.
Some families are not happy because they have yet to find out from the medical examiners, maybe a cause unknown or the circumstances. They don't have answers. Maybe they haven't ruled anything yet.
Medical examiners are scientists. They are always going to err on the side of we don't have enough information if they don't have enough information. In case of a submerged death or deaths in water where a body has been in the water for a significant period of time, it really does make determination of cause of death more difficult. When you think about it, depending on the time that it's been in the water, tissue is going to decay faster, tissue is going to fall off. You're going to have aquatic animals feeding on the tissue. And if it is a long enough period of time, you're not going to have the evidence of the trauma that potentially could have caused the death as prevalent and easy to see. And when you're talking about a pond or a stagnant body of water, it is less destructive to the body than our waterways, the bayous, because our bayous are moving.
The high velocity in these bayous is right at the top, right in the middle. I'm Phil Bedient. I'm a Rice professor. I am the director of the Speed Center at Rice, and I mainly perform research on flooding, flood problems, and flood alert systems. The people are swept away in these high waters, and then they hit these pylons. They hit the piers, and once you've hit the pier, and this water is moving at 10 to 15 feet per second, so you're going to drown in that water.
There are undersurface obstacles and things that the body hits and moves through, and so you see post-mortem trauma in those that aren't evidence of the reason they went in the water or the cause of death. And so when you add that on of having to differentiate between post-death and post-mortem trauma and pre-death trauma, it adds a layer of difficulty for the medical examiners.
Walk me through the report you got from the medical examiner's office.
Okay. So the very first autopsy report, when I say the first, there was mistakes, basically. There were 4 major mistakes that I saw within the autopsy report. Being a layman human who's not in the medical profession whatsoever, that I saw and I'm like, this isn't right. So the first one is the street name where he was found at. It was 3300 Sweeney Street, which Sweeney was spelled S-W-I-N-E-Y, and on the report, I believe it was spelled S-W-E-E-N-E-Y. The second thing was, it's kind of a combination, height and weight. They actually said that he was about 4'8", and he was about 5'3". And then they said that he weighed 89 pounds, and he fluctuated anywhere between 115 and 125. The fourth mistake, or third, however you want to view it, was that they said that there was medical hardware in his neck. And immediately, that threw a huge red flag for me. Living in the same house, being as close as we are, the kid never had surgery a day in his life. We knew that.
What does that make you question?
Oh, it makes me question everything about if the autopsy was done correctly, and then if the information to the police was correct that was given to them to do an official investigation.
If a case's cause of death is undetermined, does an investigation still continue?
Absolutely. The medical examiner's findings are not the end of a case. In fact, in a lot of cases, they are the beginning of a case. That does not require, nor does it even really almost ever, result in the closing of the police's investigation.
So they have closed his case officially. There was an open investigation, and the police basically told me that they went through his social media and parts of his text messages and his email, and that they couldn't find anything suspicious. What they have said is if more evidence is brought to the table, they will reopen the case. Okay, well, what do you want us to bring? What exactly do you need to reopen his case? I feel like there's roadblocks everywhere, if I'm being completely transparent.
There is not a case of an undetermined or a determined death that's investigated that we don't utilize every resource to find every answer we can. It's case specific. There are avenues that homicide detectives and then the DA's office run down until there is nowhere else to go.
I've been investigating since day one. I've done more investigating than they have. And I just keep thinking to myself, like, I can't stop. I won't stop.
Unfortunately, drowning in our bayous is not a new phenomenon.
Elected officials came out and said that most of the bodies being found in the bayou are homeless individuals.
What do you think when a homeless person dies from an illness, diabetes, or cancer? What do you think his friends and associates do? They do not take him to a funeral home. The homeless, when they pass, often end up in the bayou.
I think it highlights how maligned and ignored our unhoused populations are.
I think we have a lot of issues like under the bridges, under these areas.
Very few of the bodies that have been discovered show any signs of outward trauma.
In this day and age, if somebody was actually doing this and killing people and putting their bodies in the bayou, somebody would have come forward.
I think it's important for the families to be heard and these concerns to be heard. People being found in the bayou is at an alarming amount. That's stressing, like, to hear.
Each case is so unique, and they just want each case to be investigated on its own. Whether there's a serial killer or not is questionable.
The FBI statistics say that there are multiple serial killers working at any given point throughout the United States. And we are the second largest county in the United States. So to suggest that there is not a serial killer operating here right now would probably be folly on our part for us not to keep a lookout for that. But these bodies are not indicative of a serial killer.
Are the bayous safe?
It's a good question. The bottom's very, very slippery, and you slip on that muck down there, there's a good chance, yeah, you could drown.
We're the Bayou City. It is part of who we are. It's not something to be feared. None of them are something to be feared. They're something to be respected.
I don't think there's a fear in people before now. I do think now people don't want to go near bayous. I think that they think something's off.
I'm concerned that the public as a whole has any additional fear around our community.
Everybody's doing what they can to find out a cause of death, determination of the cause of death, and it's hard to have patience.
What's life been like without Kenneth?
Life is quiet. You have kids that ask questions about him and they miss him, and you can be fine one minute and then the next minute you're a hot mess.
This trend is likely going to continue.
Mm-hmm.
Will this change how the county handles anything?
I don't think it really changes the boots on the ground homicide detectives in my homicide bureau and their ability to investigate. Again, I think that we refocus and redouble our efforts to help people get off of the streets, to help people get into permanent housing. And by doing that, we will save lives.
Do you think the trend will continue 2026?
Yeah, most definitely it will. I think so. We will probably hear about something later on today. Who knows?
It was actually another KPRC2 crew that was down here on a completely different assignment, doing a story here downtown, that actually saw the commotion by the water,
And
went over to the water, and saw the body in there. And that was before HPD or Houston Fire or anybody was even called at that point.
Awful. Hold on. Okay. Shout out to Kelly Joe. She became a member. Another one on the green team. Well, welcome. Shout out to T Sizzle. Just some love. Thank you for true crime. Of course, T Sizzle. Such sad stories, cases that we have seen tonight. And again, I know you guys have been asking. We've covered the different bodies that have have been found recently, like in the last, I'd say we've covered it a few times. Probably in the last 8 months, we've covered it 3 or 4 times, because they keep, obviously it keeps happening. But when I saw this, I was like, I've got to share. We've got to watch it together because Grizzly's on there. I know we talked about her page, and I know a lot of you guys watch her, Hawaii and I. Yeah, I know a lot of you guys watch her. And when I saw that and they featured her and they were talking about all the buzz on social media, I was like, this is perfect. Um, Definitely perfect for a true crime episode. So yeah. Has anybody been watching the what the heck's her name? I never can remember her name. Corey? Anybody been watching the Corey the poisoning her husband trial that's going on? That story is so crazy. Corey, is her name Corey Ritchie? I can never remember the damn Richens. Grief author. Remember, her husband passed away, and then she wrote a kids book about grief to help her kids get through it. And now she's on trial for using she used his insurance money to cover her debts. And then she had searches like what happens to someone if they're poisoned, like all these different, her Google searches are crazy. If someone is poisoned, like all this stuff. And she had her housekeeper buying the rugs for her, and the housekeeper was up there on the stand. It's been a crazy trial for sure. Yes, Kelsey, it's insane. Yeah, she wrote a book, I think, like a year after the Richens trial. Yeah. Oh yeah, the dad also a trial that's going on right now is the dad that gave his son a pew pew, and he did a school shooting, and I believe 4 people passed away. So that's going on as well. So if you like watching trials and stuff, I don't know if you guys like stuff like that. I'm definitely going to be covering um the case coming up with the mom who unalived her 3 children and then jumped out of the window and she's paralyzed. I'm definitely going to be covering that. It starts in July. So I don't know. I'll probably just do like updates and stuff. I don't know if I'll be doing like streaming it live or anything like that. The fact people still Google, I know it gets me every time, Kelsey. Why are they seeing seeing comment? I didn't see your other one. Did you leave another one? Why are they still or do they watch no true crime? Do they not know anything? Oh no, Val, I'm so sorry. I hope he gets better. I don't see your other comment, Eureka. I see somebody said so sorry, but what's it say? You ever see the story I sent via Messenger? I had to check it out, Eureka. I have replied to a few people today. It may have been way back there. What happened to Eureka? I missed her comment. So fast. I'll check for it, Eureka. I don't see the other one. Go down. Did you see I saw something today about a man who killed himself and his wife moments after she gave birth? Oh my goodness, I haven't seen that, honey. What? I do too, Latasha. He did it. He killed him and the mom after so they left. So oh my God, can you imagine that kid and the trauma? Obviously, the kid is not going to remember it, but just to think world. And my dad decided that was the time that he takes himself and my mother out and orphans me. And I'm not even an hour old. Oh, that is heartbreaking. In the hospital? It happened in the hospital? No way. Hold on, I gotta see this. Um, how the fuck did you get it in the hospital? Fatally shoots wife in hospital moments after giving birth to their first child. He was 19 and she was 24. What? What in the is wrong with the world? I'm telling you. What this is. Hold on. This is a TikTok thing. I can't find any news channels that have like a video. They have articles and stuff, but I was looking for an actual video. That's awful. Hold on.
They gave birth at the hospital recently. Not long after the baby was born, the husband fatally shot the wife and the mother of the baby and then himself. Now the baby is sadly orphaned. What was supposed to be a day to celebrate turned into a tragedy. A husband fatally shot his wife before he turned the gun on himself in a murder-suicide at a hospital in Alabama. This was literally just moments after they welcomed their first baby into the world on Sunday, March 1st. 19-year-old Kenneth Terry Jr. shot and killed 24-year-old Precious Johnson, and that was his wife, and that was before he turned the gun on himself inside the Baptist Health Brookwood Hospital. This was on Sunday night at around 9:30 p.m. Right before Precious was murdered, she delivered a healthy baby. It's not known whether or not the baby was present during the shooting, but authorities did say these two were the only ones injured in the incident. Kenneth's mom has since told news outlets that the two of them were having some issues in their marriage leading up to her giving birth to her due date, but she said she never would have thought Kenneth would have done something violent like this. She also stated that Precious did not want Kenneth's side of the family at the hospital for their baby's birth, but it's not known why or if any of his family ended up showing up or not. The hospital reportedly had to go into lockdown out of an abundance of caution as police investigated reports of a shooting. The lockdown was not lifted until hours later after authorities determined there was no active threat to patients or staff or the public. The Homewood Police Department reportedly described the incident as an apparent murder-suicide. They gave birth at the hospital.
Oh my goodness. Looks like he's in the military of some sort. Oh my goodness. So basically, she did not. I mean, you can only speculate because we don't know. Obviously, neither one of them are here. But you have this great moment. They're giving birth to their first child, and for whatever reason, his wife, doesn't want his family there. So maybe that had something to do with it. He's like, damn, we just witnessed this beautiful moment, and none of my family got to share in it. Guess what? Oh, yeah, they said it was a beautiful, a healthy baby. Because that's what my next question was the baby okay? Was everything okay with the baby? Is that the reason? Oh my goodness, I can't imagine. Like I said, the baby's obviously not going to remember it, but just the trauma of knowing that because the baby's going to ask questions, and I would hope that whoever has the baby is honest what happened, because I think that does more damage to lie, if they would ever find out. But just to know that your mother gave birth to you and then boom, wasn't his baby, maybe. I mean, I would assume that they would. I don't know. I wonder if they would check that. I wonder if that's something that they would do a DNA with. Like do a DNA as far as is that his baby? That's a good thought. Because I would think if the grandparents were around and they wanted, like, to share custody or whatever, I mean, they're married, so the baby's gonna be would be technically his anyway, even if it's not, but I wonder if that would make a difference in custody court. Uh. I hadn't heard that one. Thank you for letting me know because I had not heard that story. Maybe he found out maybe when the baby was born, there was something that made him go, "Oh, that's not my baby." That's what yeah, Dawn, the trauma of the nurses and the doctors. Can you imagine being that doctor or those nurses that just helped that family have their first child and were around them, and just to think that he had that pew pew on him? Ugh, I did not see I didn't see Eureka's either. Eureka said she was going to rewrite it, and I still didn't see it. It was the Knoxville murders of Chris and Shannon. What was the Knoxville murders? In Alabama, I couldn't believe it. They said that hospital really doesn't have any security. Yeah. She didn't. Yeah, that's what you wish, bitch. That's what I was saying. I mean, we really don't know, but that, the fact that his family wasn't allowed there, that definitely could have been something. I saw Eureka said, I'm going to write it again. Let me look on my phone because that's easier. Because I want to see what she had to write. It'll drive me crazy. All right. It was last comment. If I can just find one, I can look at all of them. Damn, it won't let me go back that far. Eureka, comment again real quick so I can pull it up. If you're still in here, Eureka, comment again real quick. I know there's a lag, but because she said, I'm going to write it again, and then I still didn't see it. Yes, you're late. I'm just waiting to see Eureka's comment here. Rough. Yeah, definitely. Hey, hey. Hey, Barbara. People are flipping out. What about, Carrie? What are people flipping out about? Eureka, where'd you go? It is on all messages, and it won't let me go back but so far because I just now looked at my phone. Like I just logged in, or not logged in, but I just now picked up my phone and got on YouTube. So it won't let me go back but so far, and this computer is harder to find them. I never can find. So, oh, wait, was that it? I passed my daily much love to you, boo. That's all I see. But if I do it on my phone, Eureka must have left, damn it. If I do it on my phone, I can pull up all of her comments. Like I can literally click her name and it'll show me every comment she's ever left. So it makes it a little bit easier. I don't have to go searching. But she must have left. Oh, dang. I wanted to see what she had to say. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of True Crime. As you know, I do True Crime on Tuesday. Yeah, I saw that, Lita, but she had commented, she said she was going to re-comment something. And then I didn't see her re-comment. But yes, as you guys know, I do true crime on Tuesdays and Thursdays, usually at 9 p.m. Eastern. If it moves around, then I will definitely let you guys know. I will be back here in about 20 minutes to do Malarkey. So the live is already up if you want to go hang out there. I will see you guys soon. If not, if you're just here for true crime, I will see you back here on Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern for another episode of True Crime with me, your host, Feminine and Fierce. I hope you guys have a great night. Love y'all. Bye.